Hi, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk About. Today we are talking about Snapchat. I actually haven't thought about how we should introduce ourselves.
What's your name?
Oh, I'm Nathan Sutherland with Gospel Tech, and
I'm Anna, a regular person.
in no way related to this ministry, but also happens to be on this video. We are kind of continuing a conversation that happens a lot where in real life, I will get asked, hey, what should my kids do with A, B, or C? And a very loving board that we have has said, you know what? We want to have more amazing resources. And people are asking these questions. And sometimes as, is it John Galloway? The guy who wrote...
Scott Galloway.
Scott Galloway. Thank you. People go to Google before they go to God. So that we want to have there be great hope-focused resources. So today, we're talking about Snapchat. Anna, do you want to kick us off? What does this look like? What's our format for a Let's Talk About?
Well, I'm the regular person who's just going to ask the questions.
And I'm the lemon who's good at certain things.
You know a lot. So the idea is, if you are a parent or a grandparent wondering about an app or some piece of technology, and you hopefully already know Nathan, or maybe he's new to you, but you've heard he's a trusted source rooted in the gospel, that he can give you a quick, here's a quick tutorial on what is this thing, should my kid be on it, why or why not, and some talking points for a kid who maybe is pestering you about Snapchat. And we want it to be quick and accessible, and for you to just be able to walk away with some tools to have this conversation.
And we won't do this kind of intro every time, I promise.
We're just figuring it out.
Yeah. So...
Okay, so tell us, what is Snapchat?
All right. So Snapchat is a messaging app that your children would use to communicate with other individuals.
It's ghosty.
The little ghost. It's a yellow background, white ghost. And the idea originally was you could send a direct message similar to a text just directly through an app, and that image message would disappear within an X amount of time, usually 24 hours.
I can't think of anything that could go wrong.
No,
with
what
that.
What would happen with a bunch of teenagers using a disappearing messaging app? So it was used for a bunch of nudie pictures and porn.
We're just answering what is Snapchat.
So Snapchat's a messaging app.
How does it? There's
a search feature
it's
where
a
you can go
app.
explore new stuff. You can talk to friends that you already know. Those are generally the two phrases.
Instead of texting, it's another way to text or send a picture.
Right.
And then everything disappears.
Then things disappear after 24 hours. You can save them up to a week now.
Okay.
This new feature, but week would be your max.
How does it work, and what are some of the science-y parts of why it's addictive for kids and why it can become trouble? Yes. And not just for kids.
So if your kid it's booming right now. So we're talking December 2024, Snapchat is the hot thing again. People are kind of burning out on TikTok, which we can talk about another time. But Snapchat is every middle school and high school talk I do across the country. Kids are all involved in Snapchat and keeping streaks. So that's the first feature that's unique to Snapchat, or was. It's used in other ones now. But it's the idea that I direct message you once, you direct me back. We'd call that snapping. I snap you, you snap me. We've now sent a message within a 24-hour period.
That's we have a streak.
We have a streak of 1.
Okay.
And every day, that streak will continue if we message back. But what you will find is that for young people, the unknown of I've messaged you and I'm waiting for you to message me back so that I don't drop the ball. Because if you message me back and I don't message you again, then 24 hours goes by, then our streak dies. And it is a big deal. Kids will literally be mad at their friends, and sometimes it wrecks them. So streaks are the first kind of behavioral trigger. That is training your child every day to use the app, and what we do frequently, we do well. If you ask any young person, have you ever kept a streak alive when you should have been eating, sleeping, hanging out with people, or studying? Every streak user will say yes. And that's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You need food, you need sleep, you need people, and you need a purpose and a future. And if you're giving up those needs to get to a streak, something you want, well, that's the textbook definition of addiction. So we want to be very careful with anything in technology that is there to train a behavior. And streaks are all about training behavior. It's not a feature anyone asked for. So that's the first concern.
Is there any other parts of Snapchat that have some behavioral design in it?
Yeah, so streaks can also be repurchased back. They'll ransom them to your child and be like, psst, you missed your 24-hour window, but you can pay us a little money. We'll give it to you back. That's horrible. And also the...
what is that called? Extortion?
Yeah, extortion. You're extorting minors.
Extortion.
It's a exhorting would be encouraging.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a horrible feature. So effective, but horrible. So Snapchat's not a safe spot. High risk for running into unsafe strangers. High risk for running into nudity and violence. High risk of running into unsafe content about anxiety, depression, self-harm, suicidal ideation, and just world news that may or may not be true and that your child may or may not know how to handle.
Why do kids love it?
They love it because everyone's on it. They love it because it gives them the feeling of independence, and it's really well designed. They want to be in the know. They want to know about that latest story and meme and all the stuff that's happening. When they're not on it, they're convinced everyone's talking about them. And then the behavioral design, streaks come with a feature called being left on read. So if I sent you a message, you read it, or streak, if I snapped you, and you read it, but you didn't message me back, snap me back, then it shows me a little red icon. So I know you looked at it and you're refusing to write me.
I ghosted you.
You ghosted me. And that is a big emotional deal. So they want to make sure they don't make their friends feel like that. So they're constantly keeping up.
Okay.
But then streaks are motivating you to reach out to a bunch of other people because there's points involved. So it feels like you're achieving something, but you might be messaging people every single day that you don't even know, and you're not messaging anything valuable.
Oh. Is there a certain age when you would say, sure?
No, so I would say avoid this app because it is a net loss. If your child is showing faithfulness in little things in real life, then in a lower caliber app, something like a WhatsApp, which is direct messaging, still some freedoms, things can still go awry, but not nearly as many open doors to nefarious content. And then it would need to be the only way this is going to work. Like
they're 16 or 17 and they're already very responsible.
Yep, they've shown responsibility. They've asked for this resource. Their friends are on there, and you're like, you know what? You've proven faithful, and while this isn't my best for you, you want it, and you're at the spot now where you get this opportunity to experience some freedom. So you still have accountability on there. You don't get unmitigated, unfettered internet freedom. And if and when something goes awry, we'll be there for you because we've talked about predators. We've talked about pornography. We've talked about bullies. We've talked about suicidal ideation and mental health. Like, we've had those conversations. So go ahead and see what the internet's like. And if you struggle with it, I'm going to be here for you.
That's it. That's all we're talking about with Snapchat. Where else can people find you?
Okay, Gospel Tech Podcast. You can find it anywhere podcasts are listened, including on the YouTubes. You can check out our website, gospeltech.net. Find our books on Amazon, The Graceful Disconnect, Gospel Centered Tech.
Follow us on social media.
Oh, yeah, at Love God Use Tech on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
That's it.
Thanks, guys.